Just wanted to say how happy we are to have the great Francis Kéré here today. Francis founded Kéré Architects actually in 2005. He's based in Berlin. He was born in 1965 in Gando, Burkina Faso, and trained at the Technical University of Berlin. We're going to talk today about his projects on all continents. His practice has completely gone global. Francis is going to tell us a lot about brand new projects he's evolving. And we've met actually many years ago thanks to Christoph Schlingensief, who many of you know also from DLD, the late Christoph Schlingensief, who invited Francis to do the Opera Village, and then got to know each other very, very well when Jana Peel and I invited, together with David Adje and Richard Rogers, invited Francis to design the Serpentine Pavilion 2017, which was an amazing experience. We're going to hear more about that as well. So please give a very, very warm welcome to Francis Kéré. And I thought, Francis, maybe to begin we could talk about what happened last year, because it was really magical. We invited you to come to London to see our space in Kensington Gardens and the little piece of land in front of the Serpentine, where we invite since 2000 every year an architect to build a pavilion. And your reaction was immediate. You basically had the idea after a few minutes, looking at the site, and connected it to the trees and to the roots and to the park and to your own roots, of course, which have all to do with somehow gathering around a tree. So I wanted to ask you to tell us about that, and maybe we can see images.
Would you please put more images than that? Yeah, wonderful. Yes, I thank you for inviting me. And Hans, of course, thank you for the friendship. And so to those that already know our friends or clients are sitting here, I have to thank you to give me this opportunity to talk. I will do it myself. Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, what I will talk, it's about a passion. Hans was asking me to start to talk about how we came together last year to design the Serpentine Pavilion 2017. I think that when I was asked by the Serpentine if I can take part, I was saying to myself and to the office, if these guys from London just call us, it's not because I am a great engineer or already an old architect. Maybe they need something. And I say, let talk, tell a story. So we started to explore ways how we can create a community gathering space inside the Hyde Park. And that's how our cooperation started. But it started long time before because of Christoph. But long time before because I started to build school. For most of you, I have to tell you, I was studying in Berlin. And after 3 years, I had the feeling I had enough. So I wanted to stop studying and go home. And people wanted to stop me. I said, oh, no, I know engineering more than any others in my village. I could go and build a school. And that is the result you can see. Can you see it? Is it beautiful? Yes. It is built up from clay from my village. Really, 200 meters from the size. It looks beautiful, but it's not like from helicopter. So this lay, the ground for a very inspiring institution like the Serpentine, like Hans, to just call me to investigate how we can build in London. Here for this simple project, the idea was to create a ceiling. Burkina Faso is not one of the richest countries in the world. So if you create a ceiling inside a building that is cool through natural ventilation, this is luxury. And this is a good thing to do. Today I know it. Looking back, that I was happy to be able to do that because my people rejected it. They were saying, a school building is from France, and therefore you have to build it out of concrete and glass. But we didn't have concrete, neither glass, and not the money. Glass, you could buy it, but not the money to do it. So I was, with that idea, very successful. I have to call the youngest in this audience. There are maybe architect to be resilient. You have to believe in what you're doing, then you will land at Serpentine. So, okay, the success means that many people start to ask us to design their project, first in Africa, like this one is a high school by a couple called Pertl. They have a foundation called Stan Stewart Institute based in Munich by accident. And I could design this for them. And I think I put this picture because the partner told me today that that is her favorite picture. I mean, what you see is a build up from local materials. So if you ask me to build a villa for you here in Munich, I will use local material. That will be concrete, maybe wood and glass, but it's about when Hans say, think global and build local, it's about what can we do today? We're facing a lot of conflict. Think about the climate change. Think about energy. And all of these aspects need to be considered. I'll do very quick to let you talk, and you will be surprised. So you land in Vitra Design Campus here in Germany, in Basel, where I was asked to design a shop. It is not in the row, but then the shop, and then here is a sketch for Tribune Tower in Chicago.
Oh, this is fascinating because this actually grew out of a chair.
Yes.
Because it's connected to the previous image. So you actually designed a chair, and then can you explain us about this project? Yeah.
So I go fast and I come back because you asked that, I go. This is, by the way, my team. You don't work alone. And now, since the Serpentine, it is going so crazy, really. So I'm hiring every month almost someone. That is the tree that we wanted to use for the Serpentine. Like a figure in the landscape, and that is how I see the tree. A tree is a gathering space, and then people gather. It's protecting you for the element, but not closing you up from the outside world. That's why I like it. But I'll go to the chair very quick before we come. It is a great order. You can see the Serpentine already. So you see the chairs is a zebra stool where the people are sitting. I was in Milan doing the Milan Art Biennale, and they asked me, Francis, part 2, you have to design a sitting. I said, I have no time to design a sitting. A sitting takes a lot of time. At the end, 2 weeks before the opening, Francis, please think about it. It will be people looking to your design. You should design a chair. So I went back to Burkina. I found a little sitting of my mom. So lower than that, I just took it and I redrew it, and that is the zebra stool. And from that, so you have to go very quick back.
Yeah, from that you develop a skyscraper in Chicago.
Yes, it has become a skyscraper in Chicago. So this is it. From a little sitting in the house of my mother, it has first become a sculpture in Italy, made out of marble, 2 meters high, and then now it is an idea for the Tribune Tower in Chicago.
And that's still an unrealized project.
But architects don't build all that what I think. I think it's just to make our world rich through vision. Without vision, there is no development. And that's why I love that kind of projects.
And you've got so many visions. You've also got an unrealized project. When I ask you about Utopia, a dream project which is too big to be realized, you told us about the tower, which would link Ouagadougou and London. Can you tell us about your Utopia?
Yeah. No,
because that's another tower.
No, if you talk about design, you don't talk about simply Africa. You don't talk about your origin. You talk about people. And nowadays, our world is divided. So if someone is living in Munich and see the flow of refugees, and by the way, Germany was one of the few countries that really opened the country for the new arrivals, you understand? So if you see that, and suddenly you have a chance to express architecture, you could say, express to people that we are connected, you understand? Why are we connected? So we are human. If I design in Burkina, I design for people. If I design in Munich, I design for people. In Burkina, people love. They're making love, they're making kids, and the same here in Munich. It is about having dreams. And so I just said, let's build then a tower in Ouagadougou, the capital city of Burkina Faso, and build another one in London. so that they can look at each other. I will climb on hands and we say hello and kill Brexit. So.
Can we see some more projects? Because it's extraordinary. This, for example, is very interesting because you also use exhibitions a lot. Of course, Munich actually was a very important place for you for an exhibition. One of your biggest exhibitions happened actually here in Munich. And it's amazing because architecture shows, which is actually the reason why we at the Serpentine build architecture, because we believe it's very difficult to show architecture in exhibitions, no? Because it's kind of boring if you go to an exhibition and you see models. But France's exhibitions are not boring because you transform them actually into participatory environment. People could really participate in the Munich show, and that was another kind of example of where you use an exhibition to do much more than to show models. That was at the Louisiana Museum. Can you tell us a little bit about that and exhibitions in general, you know, the very creative way how you use the medium of the exhibition?
No, this project, it was a chance for me. If you look at back in the far corner, you will see myself. You know, like if you look at good, you see me inside the picture. This exhibition was so nice. In Copenhagen, they was doing in Louisiana Museum a show on African culture, architecture, design, and whatever. And I was asked to create a gathering space. And so there was an idea to use wood, but suddenly I picked panic because I said, since I was living in Germany, I know that the Scandinavian are being connected to wood structure. So what can someone coming from Burkina Faso deal with wood and be successful? But I didn't lose confidence. I just asked them, I want to use the cheapest wood you have to create something. They trusted my design because those people knew what I was doing. But then it came to reality. You really have to prove. And this is the result. I happened to take the most cheapest wood, and we did. And to my surprise, it was that after the openings, there was no gathering, no meeting about architecture and cultural discussion, and I'm not invited. They wanted me to be there. Everyone that didn't invite me risked to fail, but I never attend none of these meetings because we are creative, we are architects, we have to work, and I do a lot of model before I realize something like this, I really do. So again, for the youngest here, never give up, and don't think that Munich is built up. There is still a chance for all of you here to find a way to express something different that can inspire. That's what mine. So. Yeah. Don't be ashamed. Thank you very much. So it's about exploring, about looking what can I do to change or to shape a world, to shape people's dreams. This is about design and not about origin.
Can we see more images? Because there are so many.
Yeah. So this project was really smooth, and I mean, we're here under friends. I'm right? Okay. So this project brought me really now my biggest project in the U.S. It's called Steeped Rise Art Center, and now I'm asked to design a visitor center in a beautiful landscape. I will say, in a dramatical landscape. No, I will say, in Norway and Montana. You wake up in the morning, you see deers coming to knock to your door. And I was feeling like Africa, except if I come out, I see, again, big cars. So that is what this project is opening to me. And then I hope we could show you this project in 2 years.
Hopefully again at DLD. And by then, we might also see a project you and your team are actually doing in Munich, because very grateful actually to Susanne Pertl, who was one of your first clients who commissioned you to do a school. And when we spoke to Susanne before, we talked about this incredible polyphony of project, and of course there is also a project in Munich. There is actually a Waldorf school you're doing here. Can you tell us about that?
I mean, that was like between us. I mean, it's not public yet, because tomorrow I'm going to present the project to the client. But it's a huge project, and I'm happy about it to see how I can express. I can demonstrate what I'm able to do. The idea of the project is just to create a village. And if you know the philosophy of Rudolf Steiner, So it's a challenge. It's not easy. Nowadays, we have to be rational to control costs. But as you see, people have desire to go back to nature, desire to deal with material that shape their dreams and to allow their kids to be creative. So all of these ideas are being put to create a primary school, a high school with all the infrastructure that belong to. But if we present tomorrow, we're going to publish it, and then you will discover. And maybe you can go to visit it in 2 years, hopefully.
And let's talk a little bit more about the Serpentine Pavilion, because you mentioned already the tree, and the Serpentine Pavilion leads us to your Parliament building, because what was actually very magical is you see, can we go back? Yeah, here.
Yeah.
You see in front of the Serpentine this little playground,
yeah.
And in a similar way, like you go from the stool to the skyscraper, you go here from the playground to a very big building.
Yeah.
And very few people knew that, but then it became a rumor that actually the playground is your sketch for the new Parliament building in Ouagadougou. And I wanted you to tell us a little bit more about that, because it's fascinating, because the Parliament building was burned down when there was a revolution, so they burned down the Parliament building, and you came up with a completely different Parliament building, a Parliament building which actually in a way belongs to the people.
Yeah. No, here Hans is talking about the little figure in front of the pavilion. You see something little. If you look at carefully, there is a mock-up of this huge pyramid. Of course, no, there was a revolution, and there will be many, many in Africa, of course, and some areas, again. If we don't pay attention, if you don't listen to the people that we have to serve. Some leaders neglect this. You creative guys here, you're doing a lot to just do that, but we should not forget the fact that in Africa, the continent is growing so fast, really. And I love your culture. So here they will come, you may kick them out, but home they will stand against their ruler. And so they did it in Burkina Faso, and they burned down the Parliament House. That is my role. And I was called by intellectual thinker, musician, to join the group and design a new Parliament House, which is open, transparent, having a museum, having a memorial. So, you know, the recipe is so long. And I was saying, okay, I cannot say no. Because if you do so you are the son of the country. And they'll say, he is famous, but he don't want to respond to his country people. So it is like killing your name. And I had to say yes. But then I have an idea. I wanted to create something I'm sure they will reject it. So it was a pyramid. I said, let's create a pyramid. You know, Ouagadougou is not Munich, neither Berlin, neither New York or Paris, where they have an industry, they have cars, they have everything. We have people and we have agriculture. Let's create a huge pyramid and we put agriculture field on the top. You see the terraces? So they will demonstrate how to grow corn the best way. I mean, it's like a dreamer, but I wanted to be called a dreamer so I can run away and keep, doing other projects. But the idea is, if people can climb a building every day, by the next revolution, what I will do, they will not burn it down. Yeah, they will not destroy it because it's their own project. So this was the ideas I had. And finally, we designed. And all my partners, including very revolutionary musician in Burkina Faso, told me, Francis, no ruler in our country will accept a building like this. And then, but go and show it to the parliament president. And I arrived almost happy to call my people in Berlin to say, now I am free, we can't do other projects because they will reject it. So I arrived, he was looking, and he did his head like this. Monsieur Kéré, Mr. Kéré, I love your building, but it's too big and too expensive. Can you make it small? Can you understand? I leaned back and said, what if? So, you understand. So I had to redesign, and we did it, and it was so great, he even came to Berlin to visit us. But what I'm telling you is a drama. We have visions, and often visionary ideas get killed. Look at what happened. We had to put renderings. This is Obama. some of my office, specifically the American in my office, realized that I met Obama. And I hid the pictures because I didn't want it to go through the new media. So every one of you will think I am successful. I don't need more project because I'm a friend of Obama. So I didn't want it to show it. So, but then someone came with the idea to take myself and then cut me out and put the hand of the president, the parliament president with Obama. By the way, I start to say, oh, it's a good idea, because they said, if you show it to the parliament house, he will find the money to build. And the drama is, he really liked the picture. He came to visit me even in Berlin. But to say the connection to the West, you know, understand, in my place, we are dreaming. I mean, I am privileged. I mean, I'm part of you here, you know. But in our place, where I was born, people still look to you. You have to know that you have your biggest fan in Africa that really look up at you. And even just to put up a figure of the leading president in a Western world to impress your own people or to hope to have money is a dramatic issue. So it ended up that I came one day in the office and someone just say, okay, someone called in the office to say they want to speak to you. So you have to change the picture because the US has a new president. Can you understand? Do you get it? Get the point? No. The US has a new president, and I had to change Mr. Obama through another person. And I said, no. So, no, I didn't. So this is a little drama. We're too much focused to you. But it's also our fault because we're very weak. But you have to make sure that you have your responsibility also. You're making your society so sexy, so attractive. Everywhere where you go, you will listen how beautiful it is here, how free you are here. And in Africa, everyone is a dictator. What do you do if you see a big magician and it is your big hero? What do you do? So tell me honestly, what would you do? You would go to meet him. And you have a lot of fans in Africa. Millions of people are looking to you. If you don't use your skills to help something happening, they will come here. They love Bayern Munich. They love Manchester. Why should they not come? And this is a big issue that I see, and we have to stay together and not just to go far from reality. If I come, the system will crash. And it will give a powerful voice to those that don't want peace. You get what I'm trying to say? But it's about design. Hey, by the way, this is a house of the grandma of Obama. It's a kindergarten. So normally I will be now in Kenya pushing to have this finished by June because Mr. President is coming to open. But I love to be here with you to share and talk with Hans and to you.
And we've got so many more things we could talk about, but I promised DLD that we're going to be on time. So I wanted to ask you one more thing, because it's interesting. It was fascinating to see the Parliament building, because it reminded me also, of course, of Khan and, you know, the Parliament building he built for Bangladesh and the amazing, you know, buildings in Ahmedabad. And you once told me that the confidence, you know, the idea that he could just do it, this confidence was for you as a young architect very, very important. But the other thing is, of course, also the continuation of this transmission. You started with a school, and that's something which never went away. You continue, you know, to build schools. And I thought in the context of DLD, it would be very important to hear about this new IT university you're actually building in Burkina Faso.
No, it's about having a chance to meet a visionary client. This is always about. You can have an idea if you don't have someone to. You may call me. I am privileged because I can choose my friends. But if you have a visionary idea, you as a digital pioneer, you know that you have a good idea. If you don't have someone to pay at least for it, you won't see your idea come true. This is the same to architecture. But here we had the chance to build a high school. I don't know why I didn't see the project. Let me push. There's no more picture, but however...
Can we get the pictures
No,
back?
it's okay. We show it. We built this high school for this couple, and now they were surprised about the success. People start to settle around this structure. And they was really shocked because they just wanted to put high quality education. And then the demand is so high. And they said, okay, Francis, it was last year when they called me to say, Francis, we want you now to build, we don't want the kids to go and just learn theory. We want them to become active. We have a dream to build an IT university. And there's a couple, I will say, German. So if they have an idea, they really go. And I have no time to design. Normally, I should start to build in February. But it's a good idea because it opens opportunities after school to go forward. If you're talking about digital, and everything, you really need to create structure in Africa that is able to follow up. If not, you will not have clients. It's your future partners.
Very last question. Rainer Maria Rilke wrote a little book, which is the advice to a young poet. And I see several young architects here. So I was kind of wondering, what would be your advice in 2018 to a young architect? Because you're also teaching. You're a professor now at the TU here in Munich. So I was curious, what are you advising these young aspiring architects?
No, I mean, it's very difficult. But the only thing that I will say, there is no way for us then to be positive and to try to use our skill to go forward. I think the world is better because it's transparent. We know a lot of things that we don't know before. And even in Africa, people are having more and more access to information, thanks to great education means, but thanks to all of you here with so we know about the net and people have information and they can fight for their rights. So I think we have to be positive and just spread optimism in the world and say good things, innovative things will always be more than the negative thing because there is no other way. And I'm very confident that in less than 50 years, you will see everyone of you will go and try to settle up in Africa because we'll be great there.
Francis, thank you so much.